Also tonight, thousands of people are waiting right now outside the American Airlines Center in Dallas for President Trump's arrival. The president, as you probably know by now, holding a Keep America Great rally this evening, which begins in just about an hour.
Johnson County is home to some of the hardest working patriots in America.
The president getting set to leave Johnson County, where he has been speaking at the newly opened Louis Vuitton workshop.
Counter rally that is going to be held tonight in Grand Prairie needs to be mentioned as well. Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke holding what he calls a rally against fear. Campaign 2020, with all of this going on, is now in full force right here in North Texas.
We have live team coverage for you tonight, beginning with political reporter Jack Fink live at the American Airlines Center. Jack, what's the crowd looking like there?
Well, they're getting into this rally, which is set to start in about an hour from now. Excitement is certainly building for President Trump's arrival. Senator John Cornyn, who's up for re-election next year, and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick warmed up the crowd before. And the president's supporters say they are proud of his record. 20,000 people are expected inside tonight. While some people camped out here last night, most showed up early this morning to make sure they could get a good spot inside. Food trucks and live music have been out here. Supporters say it's like a party and that they've made fast friends. Texas is important to President Trump because he needs it to win re-election. He's been to the Lone Star State 6 times this year. They tell us they support the president's policies, protecting the Second Amendment and his record of overseeing a strong economy and border security.
And I think it's very important for us to show Trump that Latinos are for him, because a lot of times you hear in the media that Latinos are against Trump.
Oh, it's like a family. Again, it's people who have the love for the country. And it just so happens that it surrounds a gentleman who picked up the mantle and said America has greatness to it, and we need to bring it back.
Again, the crowd getting pumped up here, little village people. The lieutenant governor announced this will be the largest rally for President Trump, and the crowd roared. Thousands of people are said to be still making their way into the American Airlines Center. The president will speak shortly after 7 o'clock, right at that podium behind me. Live in Dallas, Jack Fink, CBS 11 News.
Jack, thanks very much. So we'll go from loud inside to coverage outside. Jason Allen, right outside the doors of the American Airlines Center this evening. So we know a lot of people we've seen from the helicopter, Jason, that a big crowd has formed. A lot of people still trying to get in. But at the same time, they're making it difficult for rush hour. And there's also a protest equation involved with this, correct?
Yeah, all of that combined, Doug, and so that's difficult, especially if you're trying to get around here in Dallas, anywhere around the AAC. People who are joining the crowd, trying to get in the crowd right now, they're getting to about this point where we are, and they're looking at that, and they're saying it looks like they are running a marathon through Dallas, and it's been something of a marathon wait for these people to try to get in. And yet, over the last couple hours that we've been here, we are seeing people still getting in that line. They're determined to get in. You mentioned the protesters just a few minutes ago before we joined you. There was a large protest that kind of developed out here on the streets, and they've gone around the corner, so we can't show it to you now from our live position, but we can show you some video that we shot. These are people who are upset, have been upset with the president's position, pulling some troops out of Syria. They're afraid for some of the people and the innocent victims, they say, that have been endangered by that move. So that group has grown. I would say maybe 100 people now to this point that right now is walking around the AAC. Also, earlier today, local Democrats were here. They were pushing back with some statements as well. They were talking about the president's border policy and about health care and taxes, and really just his personality in general.
We must live a life of humility in service, putting others, and especially those that we serve, before ourselves. President Trump does not put those he serves before himself and demonstrates no humility in his service to our country.
As you'd expect with any visit from the president, there is a heavy law enforcement presence here around the AAC, but they have been very, very quick to keep people in defined areas, even those who are going into the event, and any vehicles that have happened even to get into this area or drive in. They've been jumping on those very quickly to try to make this safe, and we haven't seen any major events or any major problems to this point so far. Live in Dallas, Jason Allen, CBS 11 News.
All right, Jason, thank you so much. And right now, President Trump wrapping up his visit to the Louis Vuitton workshop in Johnson County. We want to get out to our Ken Molestina. He is live from nearby Alvarado. So, Ken, tell us what happened out there today. What did the president have to say?
Well, first of all, I should tell you, he left here just a couple of minutes ago. Brooke, we saw the Ospreys and the helicopters leave the Louis Vuitton factory here. They're on their way to Dallas right now. The crowds are gone right now, but I can tell you there was a lot of excitement here earlier today on both sides. People who support the president, those who oppose him. They say it was very exciting to welcome him here to their small rural town in Johnson County. President Trump, again, left just a little bit ago, but he spent time inside that Louis Vuitton factory. He was meeting with employees in the Rochambeau Ranch. That's the name of the place where the Louis Vuitton factory is at. He toured the facility. He participated in a ribbon-cutting ceremony. He was joined by his daughter Ivanka and his son-in-law Jared Kushner. Also on hand were other dignitaries who joined the president. The president then took some time from his visit to offer a couple of remarks. Have a listen to what he said.
This workshop will soon employ 500 of the most highly skilled workers anywhere in the world. No one can match the precision and perfection of an American artisan. Workers here will have great pay, quality health care, 401ks. And by the way, the 401ks since my election have gone through the roof.
And again, the common ground for everyone who came out here today to oppose the president and to show support for him was that the people of this county, the people of these small towns here in Keene and in Alvarado, where we are right now, they were just excited to have a VIP visit from the president himself. Of course, he's scheduled to have his opening remarks over at his rally at the American Airlines Center in Dallas just after 7 o'clock. For now, we're live in Alvarado. Ken Molestina, CBS 11 News.
Ken, thank you very much. Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke is also in North Texas tonight. He is holding a counter rally as we speak in Grand Prairie, and that is where we find our Caroline Vandergriff joining us live from there. Caroline?
Well, people are still streaming in here. The event was supposed to start at 6. Obviously, it's running a few minutes behind as people come in. Beto O'Rourke is calling this a rally against fear. Now, outside earlier, supporters and volunteers lined up around 3 o'clock to get into the event. O'Rourke says this rally is meant to directly counter the message of hatred and division he believes the president will be spreading tonight in Dallas. Tonight's lineup includes a variety of musicians, Democratic candidates for Senate, local activists, and faith leaders. His supporters say O'Rourke is the change the country needs.
We don't like what's happening in Washington. We don't like what's happening in Syria right now. And I don't know much about Donald Trump that they want to be like. So I think it's important to be the antithesis of Donald Trump.
This is the second time this year O'Rourke has held a rally directly countering an event of Donald Trump's. Now, this venue can hold about 6,000 people. We'll see if that turnout will match that. And, of course, we will bring you the latest from this rally later this evening. Reporting live in Grand Prairie, I'm Caroline Vandergriff, CBS 11 News.
Caroline, thank you.